Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Also, we're going to be launching an exclusive Dreamers Pro community in less than 2 weeks. And if you guys want early access to it to receive a one-time offer, only available to people on the waiting list, please make sure you sign up to it. We have it pinned in the description below. We have about 500 people signed up now, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. Check that out in the description if you're interested. Anyway, let's get into today's topic. So we're talking about the NBA ratings, right? We're talking about the NBA ratings. And it's something that we've been speaking about over the last few weeks. We actually produced a show about 3 or 4 days ago about a front office report that was centered on some of the NBA ratings. And I actually want to read from what that report had to say. It had the following headline. It said, NBA Cup TV ratings down 10% through group play. The NBA has faced stiff competition from other sports, but has also dealt with several injuries to top stars. The article then continues on. The NBA's downward viewership trend to start the 2024-2025 season has seeped into the Emirates NBA Cup. Viewership of the NBA's group play averaged 1.3 million viewers on ESPN and TNT, a 10% dip versus last year, the tournament's inaugural season. The network split 14 nationally televised games, with TNT averaging 1.5 million viewers for 8 games and ESPN drawing 1.16 million viewers for its 6. There are several hypotheses regarding the NBA's early season viewership decline, including TNT analyst Shaquille O'Neal posting that the volume of three-pointers have made the game repetitive. The NBA also has dealt with additional competition this season, a battle of powerhouses in the World Series between the Dodgers and Yankees that drove a 7-year viewership high, the presidential election, and the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight, which set historic streaming numbers. The NBA has also dealt with a slew of injuries to its stars. Luka Doncic, Victor Wembanyama, Paolo Banchero are some of the key names who have missed national televised NBA Cup games. With the quarterfinals starting Tuesday night, 7 more NBA Cup games remain, during which the NBA can try to catch up to the 1.4 million viewers the tournament averaged last season. Of the 8 teams left, only one is missing its biggest stars, the Magic, who are without both Banchero and Franz Wagner. Yeah. So that's what that report had to say. So this morning, I was just combing through the internet looking for what to discuss today, and I came across an article from the same front office sports that said, NBA Cup scheduling dilemma. Fans are struggling to commit to final. And I'm like, man, this thing, and the beat goes on, It's like it's not stopping. So the article then continues on. Alex Reed walked off a plane at the Harry Reid International Airport sporting a Trae Young jersey. It was about 1 p.m. on Saturday, and Reed, a diehard Atlanta sports fan, was headed straight to the T-Mobile Arena to watch the Hawks face the Bucks in the Emirates NBA Cup semifinals. But he didn't plan the trip to Sin City to see the Hawks. Instead, he told Front Office Sports he was there to watch the Falcons face the Raiders at the stadium for Monday Night Football. The Hawks happened to qualify for the NBA semifinals Wednesday night, less than 72 hours before his flight. And because tickets were cheap, he and his partner decided to add it to their itinerary. When asked whether he would have come for the Hawks only, Reed chuckled and simply said no. However, there was a caveat. He would have gone if he knew the Hawks had qualified at least a few weeks in advance. Yes, I would have probably had a better decision, Reed said. While the Hawks did not make Tuesday's championship game, Reed said he would have attended anyway because he would have flown out by then. And he's far from the only one with this experience. Over the weekend, Vegas was filled with groups of Atlanta sports fans who mixed the Hawks jerseys with their majority of Falcons merchandise. Another pair of fans who chose to remain anonymous told FOS they flew to Vegas from Hawaii to support the Falcons. One of them was a supporter of Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo, but still chose not to attend the game live. They also said an earlier notice may have prompted them to make the trip, even if it were just for the NBA Cup. What's the fix? These stories highlight the scheduling conundrum the NBA is facing it as it attempts to grow the NBA Cup. The league envisions event fans are willing to travel to, similar to what it has built with Las Vegas Summer League. But the format of the NBA Cup makes it difficult for fans to know which team they're coming to support. Last year, none of the 3 games in Vegas sold out, even though the Lakers won the tournament. Diehard fans could easily make the impromptu 4-hour drive from Los Angeles, which isn't easy for Bucks and Thunder fans this year. The average ticket price for this year's NBA Cup's finals is $202, down about 42.5% from last year, according to TickPick. The NBA has not ruled out any changes to the tournament in future years, but solidifying the Final 4 NBA Cup teams week before the games is tricky given the NBA's timeline. The league wants the tournament to come before Christmas, which gives them only about 2 months from the start of the season. The NBA Cup started 3 weeks into the season and gives some teams time to ramp up, and then the article then goes on to say a few other things there. What are my thoughts about this? Look, the NBA, I think the NBA, Adam Silver and these guys are searching. I think they're searching for alternatives. I think they're searching for solutions. They may not want to admit this publicly, but they understand that a problem exists. And it's not one of those things where you can kind of argue it away. Well, that's your opinion. No, the numbers say otherwise. Like the declining ratings it's a glaring sign. You look at the all-star numbers, you look at the sentiment around the game. Now, let me give you guys a quick insight here. As an NBA fan who signed up, I believe it's to League Pass. I watched the games. I have no interest in this NBA Cup. None whatsoever. I don't even understand it. It appeals to me. It doesn't really appeal to me, to be quite honest with you. I think there's a game on Wednesday. I may or may not watch it. It's not must-see TV for me. And I'm sure that's the case for for a lot of other NBA fans. The thing is turned into too much of a gimmick. I think the 3-pointers are excessive. It's excessive. And it's not even making any sense anymore because they're saying, oh, take a lot of threes, but they're not even generating that many more points. Teams are only scoring, 2 more points per game? I think there's only been an increase or decrease in points scored overall in the NBA. So the advent of the 3 is not really working as well because the fact of the matter is it's a low percentage shot. And on nights when you miss, you're really going to miss. Like you're really, really going to miss. Why? Because it's further away. This was quite obvious. The further away the shot, the harder it is to make. It's quite obvious. You know, but that's from another aspect. Stylistically, is something that's turning people off. And then, of course, you have the fact that NBA players are now not dunking anymore. The game has just become a little bit too mundane. And by the way, we're going to be launching an exclusive Dreamers Pro community very, very soon. And if you want to be a part of it to ensure that you receive a one-time offer, please make sure you join the waiting list. We have over 300 people signed up already. So if you want to receive that one-time offer, only the people on the waiting list, please make sure you go ahead and do so. So what happened yesterday night? I was just kind of relaxing, and I was just kind of combing through the internet, kind of looking for things to work on for the following day, just looking for stories. And I came across a clip that was recommended to me from KG Certified, his YouTube channel, the show that he does with his former Boston Celtics championship teammate, and Paul Pierce. Now, if you know anything about Kevin Garnett and his show with Paul Pierce, they're very raw, uncut. They swear, and they basically speak. I'm assuming they speak. It's like having a camera lens into their regular lives when they're having regular conversations. I get the sense it's this really authentic show because I don't think KG is faking it. So they were there talking about various things around the NBA. And then Paul Pierce brought up the Lakers. Now, if you know anything about Paul Pierce, although he's from California, he does enjoy seeing the Lakers suffer, right? He does enjoy seeing them suffer because he played a good amount of his career with the Boston Celtics. He won a championship against the Lakers. So whenever you see him on TV with him and oh my God, what's the guy that he's Keyshawn, they're always up there and they're kind of fighting one another, and Keyshawn is like, "Oh, you a Laker hater," and all of that stuff. So Paul Pierce kind of has that thing with him. So they're talking about the Lakers, and Paul Pierce is just basically like, this year should just be basically about LeBron James and Bronny James. They should trade away AD and just make it about that. And KG's like, "Are you sure?" Like, "I don't think that should be the case." Blah 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 blah. So while they're talking about that, the conversation then veers off to start talking about JJ Redick. Now, as you guys know, we're not a fan of JJ Redick on this platform. I've made my feelings 100% clear. Everyone knows where I stand on as it pertains to JJ Redick. And one of the reasons for that is because JJ Redick seems to be very rude. He acts like a know-it-all. He goes up there, he starts swearing in press conferences, walking out. I'm like, this is just very unprofessional. And he came into the NBA season that believing the hype that he was going to be the next Pat Riley, and somebody served him a nice slice of humble pie. And it turns out the Lakers pretty much are as good as they were last season, right? He wasn't going to work signs and wonders with the Lakers. So as they're talking about that, KG then starts to critique the way JJ Redick communicates. And he starts talking about his communication, and then he decides he actually goes on to warn JJ Redick about the way he speaks to NBA players and the media. And I'm like, so what we want to do now is we want to play what Kevin Garnett had to say about JJ Redick, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Kevin Garnett here.
So the one thing I love about the in-season tournament is that it does give some incentive. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know, you're just not playing another game. The Lakers didn't look interested in those blowouts. They looked like they wasn't there to play basketball. They and it starts, obviously, like P said, it starts with your main players, but your main players came out and was like, so yeah, I don't want to say this because it's very early, but JJ Redick got to be very, very careful of choice of words and, you know, like I always say early on in any relationship, it's fragile ground till things get a little more solid or you get used to something, you know what I'm saying? I can remember, you know, me and Pete been friends for a long time. And we played when we was younger. But when I got to Boston, obviously we were both different. We had both led teams and we were in different positions. But we were both very conscious of the posts, meaning that, say like when we have scrimmage, and say like, I know he likes to reject on a baseline, so when I would run up and it ended up being a thing that we came together, but by coincidence, but I didn't know he likes to take his time first and then call for the pick and then. So we're always conscious of that, even as friends. When I go over his house, you know, so like when you know your friend and you know you kind of go, and as we get older, I can say certain that probably nobody, you know what I'm saying, in both ways. Right. I'm saying that to say that when you get to a certain point of familiarity, man, I feel like those first couple years is very fragile. And you got to get to some hard ground to where you're like, you know what, okay, I feel confident I can say this to P now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And man, when you come out, words are very powerful. Man, we didn't play with no energy tonight, and in those lines, I'm not verbatim saying what he was saying, but I'm listening to how he's saying it, and the message is clearly at me and you. Mm-hmm. It ain't at Connect, it ain't at nobody else. Yeah, I would feel more like if you poured this in the room, like, hey, look, I need y'all to start better. Right. And that's what Pete talking about. It's not just, hey, look, you go up here go the lob, come on the backside. It's more like hey, man, Doc Rivers did a great job of understanding his players. And what I mean by that is I'm saying on October 12th or October 11th, we already knew.
P not coming to
practice. P
not
going to be around the 13th, 14th. So you know what? Whatever's going around the 12th, 13th, 14th, or 15th, we're going to give him a little lay room. You know what, owners, this is what we doing. Hey, Ed Lacert, the trainer, this way. Hey, Bidu.
They like, where P at?
Don't worry about it. Okay, look, next play. You hear what I'm saying? You gotta, it's a player management. It is a player-coach relationship, and you got to be on the pulse of how that's going and where you at in that to be able to speak a certain way. But I won't be surprised if you're like, hey, I'm going to say this about you guys. Hey, ain't really then go out here and say it. You know what I'm saying?
But like I said, this year is not about winning. This is about Bronny. Let's develop Connect. Let's see what we got to start building toward the future.
So you heard what Kevin Garnett had to say. What are my thoughts on this? Well, look. As you guys know, the Lakers just won a game against the Memphis Grizzlies. And the thumbnail, if you go look on the internet to see the post-game interview of JJ Redick, he's up there smiling. And he's smiling, obviously, because he's happy that the Lakers won. But whenever you look at games or interviews after the Lakers loss is a totally different thing. He looks distraught. He can barely speak. He's always rubbing his head and his eyes. He's confused. And to me, it shows that there's a lot of emotional instability there. And when you're the head of the Lakers and you're a head coach in the NBA and you're dealing with a turbulent environment, you need to be the one that is most relaxed. It's not to say that you can't go behind the scenes and reprimand your players and scold them and go off. No one is saying that. But when you're in front of the cameras, you need to be able to be more even keel. There are times when JJ Redick is being questioned by the media and he looks like he can't even speak. And to me, and I think a lot of people, that's surprising because if you listen to JJ Redick on TV, he had a lot to say. He had a lot to say. He was up there criticizing Doc Rivers, talking about this guy and accountability and all of that stuff. That's what he was saying about Doc Rivers, a championship coach. Now, Doc has had some low moments, a lot of low moments with blowing these leads that he's had in the playoffs. But nevertheless, Doc Rivers is a coach of tenure. There have been some pretty good coaches that come from under the Doc Rivers umbrella. Ty Lue's one of them, who's also a championship coach, right? So when you're out there saying those things about Doc, people sit back and say, well, let's see how you handle it. Let's see how you handle it. And I think Kevin Garnett is beginning to notice that. The other thing I like is JJ Redick is no longer off limits. Because for some time, JJ Redick seemed to be a no-go area. Some people were afraid to call out his name, but when it came to Darvin Ham, people didn't have an issue with that. So now I'm happy to see that people are calling JJ Redick's name by name. By name, because he's the Laker coach. He signed up for it. He's getting paid millions of dollars. And if the coach isn't doing his job, you need to call him out. Period. End of story. No other coach gets a pass. Neither should he. Now, there's some coaches that may get a pass, but they're proven. They have a track record of winning and consistency at a very high level. And if you don't have that, then I don't think you should be exempt from criticism. And I'm glad that Kevin Garnett is pointing that out about JJ Redick, about his communication style. And it's something that he's going to have to learn. And given the fact that there's a learning curve in any job, but especially this one, it would have been better if you're a little bit more humble and less critical of other people that were doing the job. And by the way, we're going to be launching an exclusive Dreamers Pro community very, very soon. And if you want to be a part of it to ensure that you receive a one-time offer, please make sure you join the waiting list. We have over 300 people signed up already. So if you want to receive that one-time offer, only the people on the waiting list, please make sure you go ahead and do so. Let's get into today's topic. So, these LeBron fans are hilarious. They are hilarious. They have now found a way to create another angle for their GOAT debate by using Bronny James as a conduit to do so. Now, LeBron fans are desperate, as you know, to prove that LeBron is better than Michael Jordan. So one of the things they now saw was, well, LeBron has a son playing in the NBA. Michael Jordan never had a son playing in the NBA. And look, he's good. So you see, here's another thing that LeBron has over Jordan. So this is why they've been pushing it so much. That's one. Number two, because it's LeBron's son, they're going to defend him anyway. It's like a family deal, man. It's a package deal. It's like a healthcare plan. Covers the whole family. Pour honey all over everybody. That's how LeBron fans feel about it. So Bronny got off to a rough start. He wasn't looking any good, but then he started having some pretty good games. And he had a standout game the other night where he scored 30 points. And the LeBron fans came out in droves. Do you see what I see? Do you see what we see? Are we all seeing it together? Bronny James is coming for the NBA. He's going to be the MVP next year. Blah, 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 blah. So LeBron fans were hype about it. They were over there rubbing their titties and all kind of stuff. They was hype about it. So then what happened? ESPN, being the network that it is, decided that, you know what? Oh, Bronny did something good. Time to promote it. So on this particular occasion, they had a panel of Stephen A. Smith, Ryan Clark, Cam Newton, Snoop Dogg, and Molly Qerim. And they're up there. And Molly brings up the thing about what Bronny James did about scoring 30. And what she thought was that Snoop was going to get up there and start twerking it up all over the table for her, because that's what they love to do at ESPN for LeBron James, twerk it up all day. But to her chagrin and the chagrin of many LeBron fans, Snoop Dogg totally shut down Molly Qerim on live TV talking about, man, stop playing with me. Cut it out with that nonsense, man. Get out of here. So So what we want to do is we're going to play what he had to say. We also want to play a little bit at the end of what he had to say about the state of affairs at the Lakers, a very short clip, about a minute or so. So take a listen to what Snoop had to say here, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to that there.
Let's get to your Lakers, Snoop. We got some concerns. The Lakers rookie had the best showing of his short professional career, posting a game-high 30 points in the G League as the South Bay Lakers fell on the road last night. He's now averaging 14 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists across 4 G League games overall. That is Bronny James. Snoop, is this a breakout performance for Bronny?
I think it's experience. There's no such thing as breakout in the G League. Come on now, quit playing with me. That's the experience, you know what I'm saying? You're getting experience and you're getting some know-how to how to have that killer instinct, you know, with guys that's more your level. But when you get to the big game, them little dudes over there not going to be playing in that NBA game, but it's good work, it's good, you know, information, and it's teaching him how to actually attack, because I see he attacks now. Because he's getting more run, you're getting more playing time. You actually get to get on the floor. But I think that we need to make some changes, man. Like, we brought back the exact same team from last year. No disrespect, but that ain't gonna cut it. We need to make some moves and move some people around and place, you know, make some adjustments. Like, Jeannie, what's the dude name?
Rob Pelinka?
Yeah, hello, where you at? What you doing? Come on, man, make some moves, some adjustments. There's some people out there that we can have on our squad. And you just gotta make the decision that it's time to make that move, because as Laker fans, y'all on the clock. Y'all got to hurry up before we end up cussing y'all out, going all in on y'all like we normally do. Right now, we're on television being very professional. But on Instagram, y'all can get it.
So you heard what Snoop had to say, right? You heard what Snoop had to say. I thought it was hilarious. I'm sure LeBron fans did not think what Snoop said was funny. I'm sure LeBron fans were sitting up there saying, "Oh, why is Snoop Dogg hating? Why are you hating on the young boy? Let him live," and all of this stuff, right? You know, that's what they do, right? Look, folks, the fact of the matter is this. Bronny James is a G League player. Okay? He's a G League player. So I don't know what exactly you are expecting in terms of a reaction from people. He's in the G League. And when he's in NBA games, he's on the bench. In the G League, his numbers have improved. He's averaging 14 and a half points per game. He's shooting 38% from the field, 20% from three, 66.7% from the free throw line, getting you 3 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 1.8 turnovers. He's turned down his turnovers, 1 steal per game, and 0.8 in blocks. Those are his G League numbers. His NBA numbers, his minutes have been limited. They're not even worth mentioning. I think he's averaging like 1 point or less than 1 point, 0.6 points per game. He's not getting any playing time. He barely plays. I think Bronny's averaging 2.5 minutes a game, right? Bronny's not playing. So I think Snoop is looking at it from the standpoint, one, he's a G League player. Yeah, I know that's LeBron's son, but he's a G League player. So let's not make a big deal out of what players are doing in the G League. The reason is, if this is the new angle that ESPN wants to take in terms of hyping up G League players, then you need to be covering more G League players, which ESPN will never do. The reason they'll never do it is, number one, they don't care about it. And number two, it doesn't generate any ratings. The only reason they're talking about it is because it's Bronny, not because what he did was exceptional. That happens every single night in the G League, I'm sure. So it has really nothing to do with the fact that Bronny scored 30 points. It was more about who scored the 30. Or rather than 30 points was scored, it was more about who scored it. So they wanted to create headlines and all of that stuff. So you have that aspect of it. The other reason I think Snoop reacted that way, and is the reason we wanted to play the clip, the tail end of what he had to say, was because he realizes that Bronny scoring 30 points in the G League has absolutely zero impact on the Lakers themselves as a whole. So he's like, that's great, but it's not going to benefit us. And as a matter of fact, here are some of the line items that we need to address. He pointed that out in the soundbite. So Snoop saying that is like, yeah, it's great, but can we move on? Like, I didn't even know y'all gonna bring this up. He's like, don't play with me, and I'm sure that that's not what they want to do, because hey, they want to make money, man. It's ratings. It's ratings. They want to sell tickets. According to what I heard, I read or heard somewhere, Bronny has sold or generated about $50 million in merchandise for the for the Lakers. $50 million, if I'm not mistaken. Let me tell you guys why that's irrelevant. Let me just pull up some information here. Valuable. Let me just pull this up. NBA teams. Okay? Franchises. The most valuable franchises in the NBA. Number one, it's the Golden State Warriors. Right? At one point, it was the Lakers and it was the Knicks. Now it's the Golden State Warriors by a wide margin. The Golden State Warriors are now worth $8.8 billion. The Lakers are worth 7.1. Then you have the Celtics, the Clippers, of course, they're 5.5, and then the other teams there. I think the Knicks, no, what is it? Yeah, the Knicks are worth, the Warriors are worth 8.8. The Knicks, are worth 7.5, and the Lakers are worth 7.1. Now, why is this important? The reason it's important is if you look at the Golden State Warriors, at a certain time, they were not the most valuable team in the NBA. So the question then becomes, how did they get valuable? How did they create so much wealth for themselves? Winning. There's no substitute to winning. Not through gimmicks, not through side stories, but to winning. And what's more impressive is the market. The only reason the Knicks and the Lakers are as valuable as they are is because of the market. But if you put this brand, this product that they put on the floor every night in another market, they're nowhere near as valuable. So the question is, how long is the gimmick going to last? The Lakers are also popular because they have 17 championships. So when did we move from the focus being about championships to Bronny James scoring 30 points in the G League? But that's where we are. And Snoop seems to be a particular Laker fan that doesn't seem to be interested in that particular clown show aspect of this entire equation. That's the impression I got from him. Of course, LeBron fans are going to be in the corner hollering, screaming, twerking, shaking all over the place because Snoop Dogg hated on their king's son. Right? It's unbelievable. And by the way, we're going to be launching an exclusive Dreamers Pro community very, very soon. And if you want to be a part of it to ensure that you receive a one-time offer, please make sure you join the waiting list. We have over 300 people signed up already. So if you want to receive that one-time offer, only the people on the waiting list, please make sure you go ahead and do so.